Hello, everyone. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on the place on the earth you are now. Today, we are continuing our series of workshops for the Human DeFi Hack. And today's topic is the real cornerstone of eternity building, as we're going to talk about the Sophia unique and very special programming language on which smart contracts and eternity are based. And you will learn why I'm saying it's unique and very special. For that purpose, we have today the lack of counting on us, Omar Sadoun, which is the dev relations lead in aeternity, and also Nikita Fuchs, who is also like part of the dev relation teams and also a core dev developer of aeternity. So I won't extend myself anymore. Please, Omar, jump into the stage and let's start diving very deep, or at least start to dive deep on the specialties and the uniqueness of the Sophia programming language. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Alex. Well, welcome again to this webinar. Do you all hear me well? I think I have some connection issues, but just confirm.
Yeah, I can hear you
perfectly. Great. So I will start with the presentation, and then my camera is going to turn off. So I say hello and goodbye. Just a second. Are you looking at the slide now?
Not yet.
Should be working now. Confirm it, please.
Yeah, I see a slide.
Yes, perfect. Awesome. Very well. So for today, the idea is that after we finish this course, you will be able to do some very basic stuff with Sophia, but with Sophia at the end. We will have our first contract, very simple contract deployed on the testnet through the help of AStudio. By the way, Nikita is going to explain us in detail what's about AStudio, how it works, what are the great things that there are behind it. But we are going to be focusing more on the coding, more on what's the feature we have, how it works, and what we can do to shift a little bit our coding paradigm. So it's going to be not that long session, but anyway, keep with me. We have a first part where we are going to be looking at general concepts. We will do some small things on Sophia. Then we will have a workshop where we are going to be building a to-do list, and we will be able to see it online. So it's going to be like coding on Sophia, but seeing some website. I have to thank to people for that workshop. And well, finally, we will have a deeper presentation on AStudio by Nikita. Some tools that we are going to be using today, of course, the AStudio that you can check in on the link studioapps.com. Some other tools that you can use for more deeper projects or more, I don't know, local work that you may want to do with the Visual Studio Code extension and the A project. I always like to say, or at least works for me very well, that when I start on coding on a contract, I start working on AStudio, and then at some point I switch to the Visual Studio Code with my local environment to launch tests and all of that. But it depends very much on what you are doing and what you are aiming. We will share all these resources during the presentation, and also at the end I will have a slide with more documentation resources at the end of the presentation. But for now and for today, we are going to be good with AStudio for the work we have ahead. Or tools that are very important to know that they're outside. The Middleware Explorer there is a new version that is coming pretty soon, I hope. But on the meantime, you can check on what you are doing. If you are sending a contract to the testnet or even to the mainnet, you can check it there. You can see if there is any transactions. It's a great visual tool to see what is happening, and getting some information about the actual status of the blockchain. Another cool tool that I like very much is the command line that we have, ACLI. You can download it from the GitHub at aeternity. I put it the URL there. It allows you to do some cool stuff, and like creating your account, compile contracts, see what's happening on the blockchain, do some interesting things, from the most simple of creating an account to the most complex things that you can imagine. We are not going to be using it today, but well, so you can understand and see what we have around. Of course, there is also the GSACK. The link is at the end. We are not going to be using it today, but most of the projects that you are going to be working on during this hackathon probably will be using those SDKs. Very well. Starting directly with what is Sophia. Sophia, as I told the last session, is a functional programming language that was built with the unique and only purpose of performing tasks with what we have behind Eternity blockchain. That's why it's the most secure, fast, and error-proof way we have to make code to work with Eternity blockchain. And you can see an example of a contract. And I like it very much because it's very simple to read, very concrete, and it's a clean code. I like it. I like it very much on that way. A lot of people will say that comparing to other kind of languages, it's like it's entire, it's concrete. It has everything you need in one point, and you can use it, understand it very easily. But of course, we are here to do the basics and to understand how's the way you use it, and what's the purpose, and at the end to implement and to code. So let's go with it. Our main unit is going to be the contract, of course, and the way it's built. Any contract will be, or any implementation of the contract is going to be a code composed by types, entry points, and local functions. And only the entry points can be called from outside the contract. If you have a contract instance, it's going to be living on the blockchain or maybe on a state channel, and it has an address that starts with CT underscore and a lot of numbers and letters. Once you have that, well, you can be able to call it from other contracts or in a call transaction. By the way, feel free to stop me at any time without any issue. Just tell me, and we will try to figure out how to respond. Okay, well, we have a in any programming language, we need to build structures, we need to build features, we need to have some functionality behind it, right? But in this case, we will have that, but also we have to follow some rules, and we have to follow some structure. So we have a special type. We will see the different kind of things we can do, but there is one that is very special that will encapsulate the local state, and it's called state. The state for us is going to be the place where we put and ask for the actual status of our contract. It's where we store information, it's where we change the information, it's all our structure, or all our information is there on the state. And of course, I will have to initialize that state, and that's going to be made by the entry point init and who will be executed once you compile and deploy that contract. You can see on the example at the right that you have the init entry point. In this case, it's just an example where I have some maps. We will talk about that a little bit later. Continuing with the presentation, you can see a basic and the most basic structure, because at the end you don't need to have a state to make a contract. As I say before, contract is the most basic part of it, and you can only have like a very basic contract with only one entry point that do something that is not changing any state, like in this example we have for a hello world. Remember, this is a functional programming language, so there is some things that are being done a little bit different than our programming language and other paradigms. If you are a Haskell or Erlang developer, all these concepts are going to be easier for you. But if you are not, well, it's very easy to understand. You have to think that is a functional approach, that as any functions, you will have some input and you will have some output, and that would be it. I will make it more complicated than that. Continue with that. I have a contract with a little bit less basic structure. You can see how you build the contract, how you write it. It's important to see that you can have one line entry point where you don't have any block defined. The blocks are defined with 2 or more spaces of indentation. You have to be very careful with that, because sometimes it's not easy to see, but it's a matter of being careful only with how many spaces you put and how you define your blocks. So if you can see on the second entry point where I'm defining a block entry point, I will start the block on the next line, but I have to take care of those 2 spaces or more. So you have a simple and nice example where I'm also doing some invoke on the previous entry point of one line entry point. So far, how we are. If there is any question, Eric, please tell me, because I can see the screen where I'm sharing.
So far, no.
Awesome, perfect. Well, there is no easy way to make this, but regarding what kind of data types we can support, I would say that we have anything we need to make almost any logic. And if we don't have something, we can build it. The important thing is that the types that we are managing on Sophia are thought for avoiding any possible errors. And that's why you won't see like float types, you won't see date times, because those are risky. And I'm not, I won't be the best to explain this, but there are risky data types. So and this is a very secure language, so we avoid any kind of data type that could lead us to errors that we cannot be able to handle easily or could be risky at some point on the blockchain. So we will have the most common ones that allows to do whatever we need, but also what is special for Eternity blockchain. And as I said on the last presentation, there is some features we have that are on layer 1 for us, that are part of our main protocol, like oracles. And as you can see on the next slide, we can do things with oracles. We can register them, we can query them directly from our contract without any weird stuff, directly, like it's part of the code, it's part of our in the box library. Going back, well, we can manage integers, we can manage, of course, addresses, booleans, bits, string. We will have some special kind of types or more often used types like record, like map. But you can build, and we will see that you can build your own structure of data. And if there is any kind of type that you need to create, you can always use it. You can always do it and use it from your contract. You can import libraries. So there is a lot of things you can do to extend the kind of data that you are using. But let's try to be very simple today. We will have another webinar from Pivo on Wednesday that he will be facing more advanced use of Sophia. So let's try to keep it as simple as possible. My only objective today is that you reach the point of creating even a small contract to understand, to see it compiling, to see it deploy, and to use it from the tool. That would be my objective today. So there will be plenty of time of making things much more harder than today. So as I was saying, of course, you can use contracts also. You can do some remote contract calling, but that's something for the advanced part. Well, going back to the main types, or at least the one I think we use the most, are maps and lists. In the case of list, we have a chain data type that, of course, is immutable, but we have to take care of the types we have in it. It have to be homogeneous. So there is a typo, I think, on the slide. The idea is that I have a list of one kind of type, and I will have to keep it that way. Of course, you can add elements at the beginning of the list, and you can concatenate two lists. In the case of maps, they are very handy. It's a key value dictionary, also of fixed types. The important things here is that you don't mess with the key types, and you don't mess with the value types. You have to keep it the same on all your map. Something interesting is that you can use any type of key that you want that doesn't have a map or a function type. But well, usually what you have is some kind of I don't know, ID or string that works as an ID. It's a very, very handy type to store information that you know where it's going to be, that you know how to grab it back. There is very cool. Let me check back if I'm not missing something. No. There is a way, of course, to create those types. In the case of the maps, you can build the structure of the map, always having the key value combo, and put it on the map you are building. If you want to start with an empty map, well, you can indicate that you always mix the names of the brackets and the parentheses and and that's why I put it there directly. So we that doesn't matter the name we put it, we can just copy and paste it. There is also some in the box functions that we can use to work with maps, and they are very useful. Well, if I have to find something in the map, I have the lookup. If I need to have some default value in case I don't find it, well, you have lookup default, and you have other kind of functions that you can use. You can transform a map to a list, or you can create a map from a list. There is something that happens very often, is that you put elements on a map, and well, you need to understand how many elements they have in there, and that's why you have the size function. So far, are we good? Questions?
No.
No, perfect. Maybe it's very clear or very confusing. Let's hope it's clear. Very well. Lists. What we can do with lists? Well, you can lists are very simple to use. There is some restrictions. I put those two things here because I thought they were pretty cool, and that's part of what I like of Sophia and functional languages in general. But it's that you can do so many things only in one line of code. That, well, it's amazing, and makes very short code and with a lot of things. So you have comprehensions like we could have in Haskell or Erlang. I will talk just Haskell because I'm not that I'm not a Python coder or Erlang. I just did Haskell on the past, and that's why I like so much Sophia. And you can construct lists using the REST syntax. That also sounds very cool to make things that usually are taking like 2, 3, 4 lines of code. It's like just one line of code. Great. Well, and now I have to create a structure because it's okay with hello world and all of that, but at some point I will have to create some more complex structure, and that's why I have the record keyword that will help me with that. What you do is to create your record, you put the name, you put the attributes, you have to take care, of course, of the types you will have for every one of those attributes. You can combine, you can have records that get records inside, so you can build very complex structure of information. Of course, what is important is that everything you have on your record, you will take care when you are creating the object, when you are doing the init entry point. You have to take care of all of that. Otherwise, well, the compiler will tell you, look, there is a problem here. So here what we have is different kind of attributes on a record. Very simple. I have an account with a name of type string, a balance of type integer. Here's what I was saying, that there is no float. So I have to work with the integer. I can build my own float if needed, or just leave it as simple as possible. For me, is how to say this, but it's always better to have a simple code for the blockchain, because at the end, if there is any place for a bug, any place for an error, well, it's going to be hard to change it. So let's try to keep it as simple as possible. We are taking care of the compilation part. Once is done, language is secure and all of that, but you have to take care, you have to be responsible of the contract you are building. So my advice is keep it as simple as you can. If it's preferable just to keep a trail of the information, well, let's do it. If you have to create a complex structure on the blockchain, okay, but just take that in mind, so you don't have any issue after this. Well, when I create that record, all the information, and that's related of what I was saying on the init, all the fields, all the attributes I have on my record have to be with some information. So if I have 10,000 attributes on a record, well, you will have to initialize all of them. Doesn't matter what's the value, as long as it respect the type, but you will have to take care of that. Once you have created the record, it's very easy to access a record. Just put the name of the record and the name of the field or the attribute, and with a dot. Very easy, straightforward. For a map, and this is a good example, if you look at the get balance function, you will have a map that is coming at the function, and you can just access it very straightforward with the brackets. I always miss. I will make this mistake like a lot of times, mixing the names of the parentheses, brackets, and all of that, but you get the point. So the idea is that I use my key here, the accounts, my map account has a key that is an address, so I will use that to access the account, and then I will access the record to get the balance. Okay, so very, very easy, straightforward for accessing a map value and then the record in the value. Some other cool stuff we have. Well, we have if, then, and else, or if. We also have a pattern matching that is very handy. And the right example shows one of the uses that you can do when you access on the switch. You access a list, and then you want to do some stuff with that list, or maybe just the head of that list. So there is some very cool things that allows you to do pattern matching during a switch. And well, we have in this case we have an entry point that gets an answer from an oracle, and if we get the answer, we can just use none or some. But if we want to do some stuff with what we are getting from the switch, well, you can do it as long as you can identify or do that pattern matching with the element you get. In case of the if else statement, well, there is no bigger things there. Almost like every time or every language we have around, just use it. The thing with the if is like, for me, is if I can avoid using it, that's great. But there is times that there is no other way. So just keep it simple, as I told before. Well, now it's time to do some coding. Very easy coding. Don't be afraid. So we are only be doing some, and I think I have some idea here. The idea is that you take and you grab the studio apps.com contracts editor, and that you just build or try to build a hello world without parameters, and one with a hello world that gets parameter. We won't be handle state. We won't be changing the blockchain yet, but at least you will have a first feeling of the language, and you will be able to compile. I will go with you, so you are not alone. And please, if you have any issue while doing this, just tell me.
Omar, I don't know if you're seeing the question. Carlos was just asking if when we record something on blockchain, if we record structures or plenty data like key value.
You record the state. What you are storing is the state. Yeah. And Nikita, she already answered. But you can have everything you are storing. The state is going to be stored on the blockchain. So if you have a state with records, maps, and whatever, it will be stored there. And the important thing is that the types and the information you are storing on those types just match. Let me try, but I don't want to share it already because I like people to do some mistakes while they are trying to do the simple hello world. Yes, that's the link. Let me pass it here. I think it's going to be. So I will do just a very quick, because I don't want to do Nikita's job. But when you start the studio, you will have a contract, a demo contract that starts. Just erase all the code there and start working from zero. You won't have to do anything else while you are coding. At some point, you will get a hint that there is init function. That's all right. There is nothing to fear because we are not using the state yet, so we don't need to have our own init. And once your contract gets compiled, it's going to be trying to compile automatically. You don't have to do it yourself. But at some point, it's going to be compiled, and you will get a compiled contract on the right part of the screen with a deploy button or use at address if the code you are using was previously compiled. Nikita, if I'm telling something wrong, just tell me. But at that point, once you have your contract, just hit on deploy. If anything goes well from there, you will get the functions or the entry points. That's the best way to say it. You will have them below that, and you will be able to execute them. At that point, you are already deploying something to the blockchain, in this case to the testnet, and you will be executing that directly into the testnet blockchain. Looking at the question, Carlos, we have, that's great to work as a team. Nikita, you are already answering all the questions. You are making my work very easy.
Omar, maybe you can repeat the questions and answers also for people who are watching on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Carlos is asking, do we have to assign an address to access a data record? Well, I will refer to Nikita's response that you call a contract, kind of. You call a contract as address, yes. Once you have a contract deployed, you will have an address, and you will have to use that along the code. The thing is that the studio has the code you are doing, but this will be like a more advanced part where you can use your smart contract with an SDK, like the JavaScript SDK. So the two things you will always need is the address of the contract and the code of the contract. So that way you can execute the logic or access through the logic the information on your contract. So how it goes? Anybody with issues? Have you been able to access the studio?
Yes.
Awesome. Issues? Awesome. Perfect. Don't worry. At some point, I'm trying to write. Yes. Well, it's like any new things you do, right? You start. It seems easy. When somebody explains it, it's very easy. But at the right moment, you start writing by yourself. Well, problem starts. But it's part of it. There is no best way to learn than do it yourself. So it's completely fine. And the idea is to start from the most basic things that we can, and then start adding some complexity. And it's also good to do it yourself, because that way you face issues and you fix those issues, and then you start understanding. The good thing is, on this kind of languages, everything has a why. It's not like there is errors that where is coming from, where that error is coming from. There is always an explanation, and that's good. I will try to share again the screen, so at least, well, while we keep talking, there is movement and sound on the YouTube. I'm not sure if we are taking the information from YouTube, Eric? If there is any question there, how they can...
No, so far no questions on YouTube.
Cool. From those who are listening to YouTube, you can write on the chat part, I guess. Somebody did it already? We can make some challenge. The first one who makes something will get some tokens. What do you think, Eric? That could be?
Of course. Just let me know.
Yeah, sure.
No, I mean anyone who can give me their chain name or superhero like also don't forget to log in with your superhero wallet here in the session so I can send you some tips for your comments.
Cool, awesome. So I will make it a little bit harder than if you do your first entry point, but the complex one, the one that has a parameter, the one that says hello world to your name, well, that will get some tokens, because the first one is too straightforward. So no, the idea is not to share the code. The idea is that you do the code yourself, you face some errors, or you do it good the first time. By the way, it never happens to me. I always do some mistakes at the beginning. You will get the errors below. You will get the errors below. So if you do some mistake, let me do some mistake. It's not going to be very hard for me. Not share the screen. Let me share the screen. There you go. I'm already getting some error here. Yes, it's like there was somebody asking how do I check the error on the studio, and you get a red indicator near to the error. On the right should be an error message for those that are on the YouTube channel. And in this case, example, I'm doing some mistake with a type because the string is not with capital. So there should be the right one. I'm showing it already. If I do some mistake here of the type, when it compiles, it gets an error. And I have a type error here also with a message. I can see on the right side, I can see a type error that says that there is an unbound type string because it doesn't exist string with capital. So you will look for some type over there, and there is no. And you get the red indication here. So very good job, Nikita. If I do the right thing, once it compiles, then the error goes away. And as I said before, you can see the deploy of the compile contract button here. If I do the mistake again and it compiles, I don't have the option of deploying because it's not compiled yet. So I go back, fix it, it compiles, and then I get the deploy. Okay, yeah, sure. let's go for it. This has to be interactive.
Gian, I just gave you the moderator rights just for the session, so you can show us your screen, how you did it.
Yes, there is some cool stuff in a studio to share code, but I don't want to to unveil Nikita's presentation. So
Give me 1 second. I'll just unmute myself because there's a lot of background noise. I was just
don't
muted.
worry.
But let me share my Chrome tab that has the code and also share the mistake that I made. So basically, I made an indentation mistake earlier where I wrote it to make it look more beautiful. I wrote it like this,
Oh,
and I was
yeah.
facing some error here, basically like this, because I closed the bracket instead of here. Instead of closing it here, a little over here. I think this works. So this was the error that I had, and the error was shown on this side. I don't know why it's not showing now, but it was. I think it was here somewhere. The error appeared. I don't know how to see it now. No. But yeah, basically that was okay, wait, let me generate the error. Yeah, this is compilation issues. So this was here, and I kind of got the hint from there and made it look
That's
better.
a very common mistake. Don't worry.
Yeah, so I'm a Python programmer, so I sometimes just get fixated on the indentation. So yeah, and this kind of worked for me. I think post this is fine. I can. How do I redeploy this?
You will have on the bottom. You should have the deploy button.
Oh, actually, I already deployed this contract, so it's not
Okay.
that's probably why. I already deployed it and I sent the transaction to the function and it gave me the hash and the result and stuff. So I did this part. I'm trying to see, like, if I make a change, for example, how do I redeploy this contract?
Nikita, it appears again the deploy button, or you have to change the code.
I have to save or something, refresh it. No.
Please reload.
Do I reload it? Will it go? What
Yes,
if I? Okay.
that you reload.
Okay, let me reload it.
You are already storing. You are already storing on the state, so you are on the most advanced version of a Hello World. You are doing a Hello World that's stored on the blockchain. Great.
Yeah, I thought that was a problem statement, right? To store the state and print our names. No? Sorry if I.
Hello?
That was the problem statement, right? To store the state and print our name.
No,
That's
you
the
are
one I
just
did.
storing the information and showing to the screen for returning as a result of the function. So no problem with that.
Okay. So yeah, I redeployed this and then the contract is deployed here. Then I send the string and I send the transaction. Yeah, then it returns the value. Your contract got decoded. Yeah. Hello.
Well,
Yeah.
we have a winner, Eric. We have a winner.
Woo! Yay. Okay, yeah. So let me stop sharing and let others, if anybody wants to show as well.
I think Jet also wanted to show a solution.
Yes, go ahead, Jet. I won't allow you to use the studio sharing code feature because that's part of Nikita's presentation. So he has the honors. Just share your screen. Manuel.
Jet, are you here? Ah, okay.
Awesome. Perfect.
That's it already in 2 lines? What?
Yes, it's like that. It's just 2 lines because we are not storing on the state. We are not storing on the blockchain, so we don't have to handle any state. We don't have to redefine the init function. So just 2 lines: the name of the contract, the name of the entry point, types that you are returning, and well, doing the magic. So that's the way. And he's using an in on the box library for string to do the concatenation of 2 strings. So there is more than we think on those 2 lines, but that's the interesting part, that you can do a lot of things with a very clean code.
Thank you, Jets. So we have two winners, I would say,
Yes.
like with different solutions.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody else that wants to share? Maybe we can have a more complex solution. But as I told before, it's always better to have a very simple solution that does the job, because otherwise you need to test more. If you do something very simple, that there is no like too much options or ways of execution, well, your risk is going to be lower. So sometimes it doesn't matter if it looks too simple. That doesn't mean if that's not the best solution, or it's not a good enough solution. If it does the job, well, that's it. So keep it simple. It's always going to be better. There is sometimes that there is no other way than make it complex. So, but it's not the case. Very well. Okay, so if there is no other examples, I guess it's very straightforward on the code. There is not too much room for mistake here. I think I'm not sure if I'm still sharing. Yes, I'm sharing my screen. I put the entire example for the hello world, the simple one and the less simple, and that's it. With that, we already know how to create a contract, how to deploy the contract, and try it from the blockchain on the testnet. But it's not going to be just like that. We still have some more work. Let's see if it works. Maybe I did some mistake. Hello world, hello to me. Perfect. Very well. Okay. Let me go back to the presentation. Carlos, to execute this, hello, work contract, hello work, in which sense? What do you mean, Carlos? Carlos? Well, from here, from the studio, you are doing the call from the studio itself to the deploy contract. I'm not sure what you mean. Outside, well, for outside the studio, you should be using the GS SDK. I don't have any example here, and I don't think it's the right moment yet, because we still first need to understand how to create something in Sophia, and then start thinking of calling it from some website or something outside. But Nikita answered it to you anyway. We will get there. Exactly. We need first to know how to walk, and then we can start thinking of running, because on the meantime we will lose a lot of things otherwise. Perfect. Well, share my screen again, because we have some work ahead yet. Here is the solution. And now things gets a little bit more complicated. The idea is that we do a to-do list. We have prepare a workshop website, small website, where you can try to do your own contract of the to-do list, but following some guidelines. Of course, you will have to know how to define a record, how to define the state, but there is some guidelines here. So I invite you to access the address we have for the workshop. Be aware that if we are too many, we could have some issues. But if you face, just try it again. It will work. Something related to the addresses we are creating, but nothing to worry about. Just try again. Or you can just copy the code of the contract to the editor and work there until it's done. So we have different options. The good things of the workshop like it is that you will be able to see along the completeness of the contract. You will be able to see how the to-do list start creating from the website. So that's great. So access the URL and let's see how it goes, how we go through the creation of the state. I will share the URL just in case, but I guess you have it already. Or you want to go to the EA Studio, Nikita? You want to do the switch?
Yeah, I would suggest we first introduce the studio so people are familiar with their stuff before they start working on stuff.
For me, it's okay. Just go with the studio presentation, and then we go back to the to-do list. For me, it's more than okay. I hand over to you then.
Okay, here we go, guys. Can you see me? Anyone? Someone?
Yes, I can see
you. Yeah, we
you.
can see you.
Okay, now let me share my screen really quick. So there we go. Okay. Let me actually switch to it myself. So can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So yeah, as a quick introduction of myself, I'm Nikita Fuchs, with Eternity since beginning of 2020. Have been assisting the core dev team with tons of stuff because I have a long history with Ethereum before this project. And yeah, Eternity was missing cool developer tools, and I had experience with the bad ones we had in Eternity, so that's why I said, okay, come on, let's build something cool actually. So this editor is there to abstract away a ton of things that you need to do actually when working with blockchain protocols like ours, for example, and just to allow you to focus on writing the actual code. So the first thing that it probably does, which you notice, like more or less on every keystroke, it recompiles your contract, so you don't have to do it manually every time you do some change. And yes, you can just simply deploy it and call functions on it. And under the hood, of course, it does compilation, it encodes, it basically signs stuff for you, it sends the transaction, it waits until it's mined, and it gets the answer for you, decodes the answer, and it displays it to you. So things really look very simple in here, but under the hood they really aren't. So the first thing I would suggest everybody to do is to create an account. Here you can log in with GitHub. Then you're gonna get 5 private, your very own testnet accounts stored for you in our cloud, so you have your very own accounts. When you're not logged in, you're having just shared public accounts here. I don't suggest using them because there might be other people emptying them basically. So, and if you use the same account, you can have like clashes in the transactions. So I'll just log in with my testnet accounts right away. And of course, if you have the Superhero wallet installed, you can also like activate it here by triggering this switch here. So, okay, come on, Google, log me in, please. Anyway, okay, let's roll with the public ones. Google login doesn't like me today. So basically, if you wrote a contract code like you already figured out, you can just deploy it. And once the transaction is mined, it will generate your graphical user interface to interact with your contracts. Here you have a menu where you have like all your contracts. You can just close it. Here with this plus, you can always add another one. And yeah, let's actually take this one as an example. It's the default one. It has more functions. So if we just deploy it, by the way, if you have it already somewhere deployed, you can just click the address here and paste the address here and then click use an address so you have your old contract back again. And so the first thing you'll notice here is something say call locally and something says send transaction, because some functions they are in the contract, they are not stateful. That means they just retrieve data for you from the blockchain, or just do some logical calculations in the contract, and that does not cost any transaction fees, of course, because there's no transaction set, right? So because every time you want to change something about your smart contract, you're sending a transaction, right? And this, of course, comes along with fees. But if you just want to retrieve some value, you just access something that already exists somewhere, and that is, of course, not expensive, right, for this machine. So that's why there's no fees required for that. So we have, like you did, for example, we have a local function. We're gonna call it. Click call locally here, and it gives us a return value. But we can also have something that requires us to send a transaction. Here we're gonna add 2 numbers, and then we're gonna store them in the state object, which is up here. Mm-hmm. And of course, I will just send a transaction here. And it was mined, I think, even like, there you go. And we even get a return value. This is a thing that Ethereum cannot do. If you send a transaction and execute a smart contract, you cannot get any return values back from it. And we can also just cause an error. There you go. Call aborted. Let's see what the cause error function does here, actually. It's not so important. So anyways, with every contract call, every transaction you do, you can also send along some value. I built the editor in a way that you cannot do it with the public accounts, but GitHub won't let me in right now. So let's actually use a Superhero wallet accounts. Quickly connecting to it, and there we go. So now this is my private AE account. See, I'm super fucking rich. And we can send along some value with our function call. So, and this value will be stored in the contract. So don't forget to build something that will allow you to withdraw this value from the contract. For that, a function needs to be marked as payable. So this is a public payable entry point. So whenever I call this function, I can also send along some value, some AE, and it will be added to the to the amount of AE this contract owns, basically, right? So just so you know, right, you can build, for example, a smart contract that splits your funds in two and sends them to somebody else. And yeah, the transactions you pay with gas, basically this is the gas price. So the more complicated the logic that you're trying to execute is, or the more data you're trying to write to your smart contract, the more gas it will take. It's just like with a truck, basically. And if you want your transactions to be mined faster, you can like give it a higher gas price. So what the editor does for you and the JavaScript SDK is it does a good estimation for you, how much gas you will need and how much gas price you have to pay. But you can also set a manual value also. So this is what the editor also allows you to do here. Another thing basically that might help you in your collaboration and debugging is, and this feature is still actually in beta, I didn't have like too much time to focus on it, is whenever you select something in your contract basically and you say, okay, this is the thing that I have an issue with, right? Okay, this code is totally troublesome for me. You can just select it and then right click and click on share contract and selection. And if the backend doesn't fail us, then we're gonna get a link basically we can just paste here, and we will see we'll have this contract loaded with where we go. Okay, yeah, it's bugged for some reason. I don't know. I guess like there was, oh no, there it is. I'm sorry. Yeah, it will be opened at the very right here. So you will see like this is what your buddy has an issue with, but he highlighted it for you. So, but as we don't need it, we'll just delete it. Bye. So this is, there you go. And I'm gonna show you one last thing that will become really useful for you when building your apps essentially. And by the way, are there already any questions?
Yes, there's a question from Gyan on how to connect with GitHub, or if there's which steps to take to connect with GitHub.
Yeah, you just click this right tab here, and then you can sign in with your GitHub. And yeah, you will have automatically 5 testnet accounts pre-filled for you from our testnet faucet. It takes a few seconds, but I don't know like why this stupid login is not working for me right now during the screen share. Yeah, so you can also just use the public ones if it doesn't work for you either, but Google is screwing around for some reason. I'm using a Google login for that, basically Google OAuth with GitHub here. No, I'm sorry, no, not Google OAuth, GitHub. This is direct GitHub auth. Yeah, for me it's not loading right now for some reason. I don't know. I'm just using my private accounts here for the AE mainnet. Are there any other questions?
Not so far.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you the last thing that will probably jump ahead a little bit, but I think this will answer a ton of questions already right away. So as I said, the whole blockchain stack basically, and this protocol is that you have a node and you have a compiler, and the node is connecting you to the whole blockchain network. And so in order to deploy a contract, interact with it, you basically have to write it, you have to compile it, encode it, send it, wait for it to be mined, and then you can call functions either locally or with transactions that change the state of the blockchain and the contract itself and blah, 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 blah. And of course, we have an SDK that helps you as good as it gets with that, but setting that up can be tedious at times in the beginning. So I've built a code generator actually for this editor here. So whenever we deploy a contract, let's say, get back to a crypto hamster example, you can do it with anyone, trust me. And let's say we want to know how the hell from within the JS SDK we would call this stateful function called addTestValue, right? So we don't want to just read stuff, we just want to really like call it, and yeah, but we don't want to read a ton of documentation. So you just enter your parameters here, and then there's this one little magic button here, it's called code. So for now, only JavaScript and Node.js is supported, but we'll see more of that. And boom! So what you see here is essentially the full code. You can almost copy paste and just replace them with your public key and private key, and maybe also then the node you want to connect to. It's like if you just copy and paste this, this is what it all does for you. It sets up the SDK. It tells it like which nodes to connect to. Here we have the official aeternity public testnet nodes hard-coded. It contains your contract code. It compiles it. It deploys it. And it calls the function that you just chose down here with your custom parameters. But if you're just lazy or whatever, you don't want to type or like copy all this and then delete what you don't need, you just need part of that, you can just tick out these boxes and you can have just the SDK initialization. Or if you have like the SDK initialized and the contract already deployed and you just want to figure out how to call some function, then you can just untick these boxes here and just click on contract call, right? So this is the code that is basically necessary then to call your contract code, assuming that your contract reference down here you see is my contract, right? I named it my contract, but you can just, of course, then put the name of your contract here, right? So here's the function, there's your parameters, this is the contract reference, basically, and that's it. So yeah, if you want to run a little bit upfront, you can just try this contract code generation, put in your private key and public key here, and just run this. Of course, install these npm packages first, and there you will have it, basically your first blockchain application without even like writing one line of code. So yeah, another time for some questions.
There are no questions. There was just some comments regarding the OAuth or like how to connect with GitHub and these things. Like afterwards, maybe you can have a look. But it's not regarding the use of Studio.
Isn't it working for other people? Do people have issues with that?
No, it works. Jan said it works.
Okay. No, I also just tried it like 5 minutes ago. It used to work, but I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with, God knows, man. Trying it again. So it never was an issue, but for some reason, it's not loading.
Yeah, it's some redirect from the file editor domain or something.
No, now I'm logged in. Now I have. So you can tell by the icons. If it's an unsafe red unlocked lock, then it's public accounts. If it's the yellow ones, it is the testnet accounts that we give you. And if you have the superhero wallet installed and you tick the switch here, then you see there's this green thingy here. And yeah, then you just sign out of here. And yeah, this is your private wallet. And that's about it, basically. Yeah, and by the way, of course, like if the deploying of your contract, let's say like your init function takes some argument, let's put it like this, some parameter, then you will be able to enter this parameter information, of course, down here, and then click on deploy. And yeah, that's essentially it. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, Nikita. You are making our work very easy. You don't have to code.
Yeah, it's actually I'm making it too easy for people, I guess, because they don't really understand what's going on under the hood. But down in the logs, after you deploy a contract, for example, it's not really well formatted yet, I know, but you can find transaction IDs. They start with like something and underscore and a long string. you can enter those in the transaction explorers and then basically see how your transaction was doing, basically.
Cool, awesome. Well, for us, it's a great tool to start working on Sophia and having your own contracts deploy and even tested and working on a web application. So that's great. Of course, it's always important to understand what's happening, but when you start, it's great to be able, like in 5 minutes or less, having a contract executed, even in a website. So that's great, and I know that you put a lot of effort on creating this. So thank you again.
Okay, glad you have fun.
Very well. Let me get back to the presentation. We were about to start on the workshop. As I told before, you can use directly the link of todo.aeternity.art, and what you are going to be seeing there. Let me load it myself here. Oh, I'm messing around with the URL. But in my case, I will have to do some reset. Perfect. So what you are looking here, and the idea is that you start getting along with the creation of the record of a state that fits with what is needed for the to-do list function. Of course, you will have to define it, you will have to initialize it, and then starting to work with the different entry points. So there is some hints on how to create that, and I invite you all to start trying. You can edit, of course, directly here, and start checking if that contract is working or not. And it's going to tell you some errors if there is, but if you make it work, if you do it the right way, it's just going to show you the different parts, and we tell you, it will guide you to add the missing entry points, the missing information, and once it's completely done, you will see the to-do list working below these buttons. So take some time to do this. I'll be around. If you face any error, we will try to figure out. That's the new era of doing workshops online. So there is no other way from now, guys. Thank you, Eric, for sharing the address. As I told you, you could face some issue if it happens. Just paste the error here, share it, or share your screen, and we will see what could be happening. We have some means to do this, and the idea is that you can ask us, and we will try to help to make this work. At the end of the workshop, I will show and share one of many possible solutions for this to work. And we should think of a price, Eric, also for the one. Let's say the three first that finish it. We can have some tokens, right? Anybody finished it already? If you have the solution from somewhere, don't cheat. Awesome. That works for the YouTube viewers we have also. They can share their address and get some tokens, but I don't know how they are going to be. Well, they can share on the chat anyway, right? So the bad thing of remote webinars or workshop is like when there is silence, it's weird, right? Let me clean the state of this so there is no error. We still have. You can have your own version if you like. You can just copy this to the studio and fill all the gaps and try it directly from studio. Just the difference is going to be that there is no to-do list implementation on the website, but you can try it out directly from the studio to see that your contract is working and doing the right stuff. Error so far? Anybody? Who is working on the workshop and who is waiting for the solution? Very well, Carlos. Anybody else? Jan? Awesome.
I feel this like in school, you know, when
It's like that. Usually when I do this part, it's like I start working around the students, and well, if there is any questions and stuff like that, they just tell me. But now it's like there is no way to do that. So it's killing. The silence is killing me. But anyway. Imagine you can imagine me walking around your desks while you are trying to do this, and that's it. By the way, we could tell a little bit about the agenda for the rest of the week, right, Eric?
yeah, one sec.
We have. By the way, we have 124 participants already. Nice. It's going to be challenging. We have.
Yeah.
Look, tomorrow there is an instant for Superhero. Could you tell us a little bit more about
that? So yeah, tomorrow we'll have the first session about Superhero to learn more about how it works under the hood, and you can come with all your questions, especially if you're working on a fork of Superhero for the hackathon. I think this will be a really, really useful session for you. Then on Wednesday, we will have 2.5 hours for the Advanced Sophia webinar and a project, where we will build up on what we're doing today to create even more elaborate smart contracts. On Thursday, we will have workshop from product design to ecosystem design, also 2 hours by Blockchain for Humanity, who will be sharing their best practices and design thinking techniques, as well as tangible examples for guidance to come up with meaningful solutions. So yeah, I guess this is good to help you to make your project more concrete and yeah, to solve doubts about your project in general, like about the product, and you will get help and mentorship from the experts from Blockchain for Humanity. And on Friday, we'll finally have team building webinar where everyone who doesn't have a team yet will get excellent support from also Blockchain for Humanity, who will be delivering an online workshop for the optimization of, let's say, matching technical skills with, yeah, maybe with people who are more focused on design or on the business concept, and anyone who doesn't have a team yet will get matched, let's say, in that webinar, so we can create the best possible teams. And yeah, then next week we will have the last webinar so far planned on the 23rd about oracles and the AX9 fungible tokens. But yeah, more on that next week.
Cool. Wow, this is just the beginning. we have a bunch of things to learn yet, so this is only starting. I can assure you that by the end of the agenda, you will know a lot of blockchain and how Eternity works and how to create things, and well, it's going up to your imagination by then, and your creativity and what you can build with all the tools we have. So there is a lot going on right now, and try please to attend to the webinars that we have ahead, because there is very good insight. And I'm trying to see if there is anything that could be skipped, but I think no. We need to try to be on all the sessions, because all of them will be built on top of the previous one. And I can talk for the one of Sophia oracles, and it's like one layer on top of the other of knowledge, and understanding more and learning more. So by the end of this, you will have all the tools that you need to build whatever you need for a DeFi project. So enough of us talking how we are. Anybody already done? Any question? Cool. Wow. Yes. Like Alex said, this is a great effort, and all this material is going to be available, let's say forever. But it's a very good effort, and it's very important to have the knowledge and understanding what's happening and how things works, and how you can use it, and what you can do and what you can't. So for us, this instance is very important. It's very important. I'm happy to be here and be part of this. Well, yeah, you will have to hurry up, because probably there is people that is almost finishing. Well, I don't know. Usually it takes like, I would say that no less than 15 minutes. And between 15 minutes and 45 minutes is the average time that it takes if you are a first timer on this. I put some pressure on all the teams. Sorry. We should put some music. remember to take care of the indentation and follow the guideline. That would be the best advice. And you can check on the references. We have, I can share that. I will share that on my screen. I think it's going to be better than have all the links. Well, no, that's not the good one. Here it is. Here are some of the most important links related to documentation, related to our support as a community on the forum. Well, for the hackathon, we have a special Discord. We have a Telegram also. The GitHub, it's the best place to see what's happening, of course, related to all the work that is being done by the team, by the collaborators. You can access all our work. You can also access the different tools we have, like the Java SDK, A project, ACLI. We have some examples. We are working on updating those examples and tutorials. A blockchain is like a living thing that you are always working on, updating, improving. So we all have to keep up with the documentation and all the examples we have. We have a new Sophia documentation format that was made by Nikita that you can access. So there is a lot of things that can help you in all this process. Feel free to access it. Feel free to jump on any conversation. And if you find any issue, any problem, any concern, just tell us. We are here to help. We are here to build, but this will happen with all the community support and all the people that wants to work with this technology. So we are here. And if you want me to stop talking so you can concentrate, you just ask me. By the way, who is the first time working with aeternity? I want to see how experienced is our audience. I will try to remember your name, but it's pretty long. I think you should have your chain name so we can remember. AK4C5PS. Hey, Guillermo. Cool. Glad to hear that. Yeah, I know. Everyone is working and I keep talking. It's to make it a little harder. Yes, and that's the purpose of the chain names. having a easy way to remember and to work with addresses. Otherwise, it's like, well, I don't know anybody that could remember by heart all the entire address. So how do I refer? Jenny is asking, how do I refer a task using its index? Yes, well, it depends on how you are implementing that. If you are working with a map, then you will have to access with the key. If the index is the key, yeah. Index.state true, something like this. I want to do. Yes, you have to create the record as a map in that case. Let me share some parts in the meantime. Because I don't want to share the solution. I just want to share a part. Well, we have the resources already. I guess you should have something similar to this. Where you are storing your tasks in a map and you have them indexed with an integer. Yes, the thing is that when you use a map, you don't know what's the next element. There is no such thing because it's a dictionary, it's a keyword store. So you need somehow a convention to understand where you are going to put an element and how to retrieve it. You will have to get it from the state. Remember that first you have to initialize the state in the init function. You will have to start the index with 0 and you will have an empty map. Let me see how to share this in an easy way. You already show how to put something on the state today, but if you want to retrieve it, you will have to do something like this. Create a map like this. How do I reference this map? What is saying? Okay. Yes, but anyway, Justin, hi Justin, by the way, we will wait some minutes until we show the solution. Let me think a little bit on how to handle this. Yeah, go ahead, speak. Justin. Okay, let me. Okay, I saw how to share your code privately. But if you have Discord, you can share it to me through Discord. If you're on the channel, that's the easiest way, I think. I was responding to Gian that she was asking for a way to share. Yeah. So I'm on Discord. You can send me a direct message. Thank you, Eric. You can find me on Discord. You can send me just a direct message and show me the code if you need. Gian, I will take the opportunity to explain to everybody. You are initializing when you initialize a map. Usually it starts with 0 empty state. So in that case, the only thing you need to do is my map. Write it here. Carlos, if you are using a list, not sure if that's the best implementation, but if you are using a list, you could, you don't really need the position. You can calculate it. Yes, a map, it's a better solution. Thing with the list is that you have to, you need to work through the list to find something. And on the map, it's like straightforward. You access it. If you have an index for that, you can access it directly. But as always in development, there is better scenarios for lists, better scenarios for maps. So it depends on which one you are facing. Gian, let me know if you can hear now, so I can explain again. Cool. I was saying that when it comes to a map, you should be initializing the state of that map empty. So the way you do that is like I pasted on the chat. And of course, if you are using an index, well, the index should be starting at 0. By the way, Justin, I'm looking at your solution. I will show my island on the meantime. Well, congratulations, Justin. It seems like you did it well. I'm testing it. Seems to be working fine. Very well done. Yes, I think that Apple Island somewhere is default background. It sounds better to say that it's my island. Yeah, sure. Why not? Island of Bitcoin. Yeah. Hot topic these days, all right? With a high price and
You can sell your island for Bitcoin now.
yeah.
I think Jet also has a solution now.
Yes, but he's putting it on public channel, so there is something I'm missing here. For adding task, it would work. For set a task as completed, it will work. But I'm missing the index, I think. I'm missing the index. Did you try it on the workshop site? Jet, did you try it with the URL from the workshop? But I think you missed one of the functions, or you are maybe you changed it. You changed the name. No, yeah, I saw it. You changed the name. Okay. Okay, no problem, no problem. Just I was taking a look at the code, and you changed the names of the entry points. So you have to keep, if you want the workshop to work, you have to keep the names and the structure of the entry points. So check on that, check on those names, and see if it still works. Perfect. Awesome. Anybody else? How is it going? For now, I have our first winner, that is Justin. Congratulations, Justin. We are waiting for 2 more. we still have some room for 2 more prizes. We can do like maybe 5 more minutes, and then I can show the solution and wrap it up. By the way, how those ideas for the hackathon are? There is a Discord. We have a Discord channel, I think, especially for sharing projects ideas, and well, you can find some help from the mentors too. And if you need to find some teammate, you can check on the Devpost. You can check who is looking for teammates, and then contact them through that, and continue the discussion through the Discord. It's always great to share knowledge, to share ideas. You never know what is going to be created, what could be born that moment. So great opportunity to share ideas and to see how to make them alive. Carlos, how is it going? Is it working? Anybody else working on the solution? Or you are waiting for me to show the solution? Roughly what you are going to have is a map where you're going to be indexing tasks that should be another record, where you should have the status of that task and the name of that task. On the state, you are going to be storing that map, and also you should be storing the way you index those tasks in the map, so you can know which one is the actual task you have and which one is going to be the next one. So you have an easy way to access it. And then you start working with that structure from the different entry points you have. Yes, exactly. If you have an index, you will start with 0 and an empty map. Then when you add a task, well, that index will add one task. And you will add that task to the state, to the map on the state. A cool thing is that all the tests we are doing, once we compile them and we deploy it, it will stay on the blockchain forever. It's like I'm just doing some trial, and it's going to stay there forever and ever. And yeah, it's different as it is on other kind of development that we do, right? It's like we do a test, but that test will stay there. Okay, I think we are almost on time. I need 2 more winners. Come on, guys. And girls. By the way, Eric, we have now fellow superhero, I guess, is the YouTube streamer, right?
Yeah, please don't kick him out.
No, there is no reason for that. But we have another AKZE, and I don't know who it is. We have somebody that needs a chain name there. Yeah, this is open to everybody, so no reason to kick anybody.
So as a general reminder for everyone, you can also join with your superhero wallet here in the sessions and the webinars. So whenever there's some prizes or you get some spontaneous tips, it will be much easier to just send them directly here in the room, you know. So you get this blue superhero button in your avatar, basically here in the room. Maybe you can see it already for Guillermo chain, for Alex, for Omar, for me. So also for Jet. So all of us can basically receive the tips directly, and it will be much easier. So yeah, and at the same time you get to learn how superhero works, which I think is great. Tomorrow we will have an in-depth session about how superhero works under the hood.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, for everybody, Alex is telling that you can also add your address, your superhero address on your Devpost profile, and you might get some tokens for those who are seeing at the YouTube channel. Well, guys, I think we have to wrap up. I will share. I see that Gian is stuck on returning values. It's pretty straightforward, but anyway, like I said before, first time you start working on this, you will face a lot of issues, and it's part of the process. Yes, but it seems that you are not sending 2 arguments. Yes, let me check. Anyway, sorry, I was looking at the streaming instead of looking at my direct messages on Discord. Okay. What's the question, Carlos, there? On the meantime, I'm looking at Emmanuel. Error. Okay. Can you share me, Emmanuel, can you share me your code again? So I can see the complete code, because otherwise I'm just seeing an error and not the code. You are initializing. You are not doing the initialize the good way, Carlos. You have tareas and you are missing an equal for starting the map as an empty state. You should be doing something like that. If you like what we can do, we can wrap it up. I won't share yet the solution, and I share it like in half an hour or something, so you can still have time to share it to me working during the next 30 minutes. I don't know. What do you think, Eric, about that? I don't want to be outside the agenda.
Yeah, I guess so. Like afterwards, we will anyways edit this video, so not everyone watching the recording will see this time. That's we're just waiting. But yeah, like until we have two more winners, basically.
Okay, well, I can stay here. I have no issue with that. I'm checking on Jet's code. But Jet, you are not you are copying from the workshop. You are working your code on the workshop and you are passing it on the A Studio, just to understand what you are doing. For returning a value, the last line, or maybe the only line, is going to be the return, because the way you are building, you are naming your entry point. You are saying what's the return type, and you are returning the value, the resulting value of that function. So in case of get tasks, is going to be just something like that. Very straightforward, but could be tricky, I know. Well, we check on Jet's code. I think I know what's the issue with your code, Jet. One more second. Tasks. Yeah, but the code you are sending me has some different names yet for the colors. So let me fix some stuff. Yeah, you are changing. Yeah, that's the problem. You are changing. You don't have to change the definition of the entry points, Jet. You have to maintain. You just end comment. You remove the comment for the entry points, and you add your code. But you don't have to change the signature of the function or the entry point, because otherwise you are breaking the workshop. Let me know if what I said makes sense to you. Awesome. Perfect. Okay. Seems that we have another that is ready. Just share me the code through Discord so I can check it. Let me check that, Carlos. Let's see if that works. What's the question there, Carlos? Because it seems like you are missing some of the entry points. Okay, I check on Discord. So far, so good. Okay. Good job, Jan. It's working. Well done. Explain me again, Carlos. I'm not getting.
Hi, Omar. In the public state entry point alt task, the sentence put the P is deleted in pink. I don't know why.
I don't see any pink here.
No, you know, but yes. Okay, no, it was. No, it changed now. Okay, let me check it again. Because
Have a great evening, Jan, and thank you for passing by. I hope you will be here tomorrow and for the others webinars. So see you soon. Did you figure it, Carlos? Or I think now we. Okay, I will check. Emmanuel, Jet, I'm checking on the code again, but I'm not. I don't mean you change a variable. I mean you change the signature of the entry point. It should the name should be different. You should have get tasks, get underscore tasks, and you have get color tasks, an example, and for adding a task, you have a different signature also, I think. But now I will share the solution, so you can copy and check it on your side. Just give me a second. I think I have a couple of different solutions. Let me know if you can see it on the screen. Not yet, I guess. There you go.
Yeah, I can see it now.
Very well. So I just walk through the solution. What we are doing is that we have a state where we are storing a map of tasks, and we are using an integer as an index, and we are also keeping the index on the state. For every task, what we are storing is the name of the task and if that task was completed or not with a Boolean. Of course, when we do the init of that state, we start with an index at 0, and we start with a empty map for tasks. When we start adding tasks, we can have a first line. It is small for making a little bit more clear, but you could be doing this directly on the put statement. Anyway, you can create by let. You can create the new task. Of course, it has to be the exact same structure for matching the type with the information you are getting from the parameter of task name, and you start the task as completed in false by default. Once you have that, you will be adding that to the state, and for that you do a put of the state. You get the index, the actual index that in this case, as when it's the first one, is going to be 0. You put the task on that place of the map, and then you have to move to the next index. So you have to update an index too that you are storing on the state. To set in a task as completed, you will get the index of the task, and you will just update the completed value to true, because it's just the status, the only status that you can put there. And finally, to get all the different tasks you have, you will be just be calling to the state, to the map of tasks that you have, because you are returning a map of tasks. So that's very easy. Once you have that, you can check the contract. The solution is going to be also on the presentation, so don't worry about that. You check the contract, and deploys the contract, and you start calling to the different entry points of the contract. And once it's done, it means that you did it well, and you can try it yourself for adding set completed and put in your tasks here. So new task, you can add it. And you should be seeing it here. I can change the status to completed. And that's it, guys. That's it. That's the contract. That's a very simple to-do list. You can check it later. You can check it on the A Studio. You can add more stuff to it and build your own version if you like. But for this workshop, well, the solution, one of the solutions is this one. Okay. So, well, that would be it. Let me see if we have something else on the presentation, but I think here is the solution. I think I have two versions here. Yes, on the presenter notes, I have one version, and that is the one I share on the screen, and on the presentation screen itself, I have a different one. So, like I said, it's not like there is only one solution, but well, you can solve it. And well, thank you. That's it for today. I hope you enjoy it and you learn something during this webinar. I invite you all to be part of the continuation of those webinars that we are going to have. Like I said, there is a lot to learn yet. We are trying to make it from the simplest possible to the more advanced, and we have a lot also to learn yet. So thank you very much again, and see you tomorrow.
See you. Thank you, Omar.
See you guys. Bye.
See you.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.